9:30, we'll go ahead and get started. In your package, you've got your reports from your boards, committees, and department heads. That will be on the agenda for you to vote on. You also need to approve applying for the new capital outlay note with the bond fund of $1.5 million. The whole note pays off October 1st. This is a note that we discussed applying for the last, back when we did the budget. Does anybody have any questions about that? Mary, you want to address anything on it?
Yeah, I do. We just paid the older of the two notes off, and I talked to the bond fund about this, and they sent me some prelim stuff. If you want to go ahead and do this, then they will prepare a resolution that the council will have to pass for the note. And I can't close it real early, it'll probably be in December, because if I do, based on the debt service schedule, it would throw a semi-annual interest payment in this budget, which is not in the budget. So I need to close it to where it will throw it into the new budget, which will be 2021-22. So it would probably close in sometime in December, but I'll have to know from the council, the mayor and council, what you want to use the note for, because I have to put it in the note. They have to put it in the note.
As we say, it's October 1st, we still got one note outstanding, right?
We have one, it's the one we're paying on, the one that's left is $1.5 million for 10 years, and this will be the same one. The same one. But I'll need a list of what you want to use it for. I have to tell them, and then I will expand the list in case we change our mind, so I don't have to get it approved.
How soon you have to have the list?
There's no hurry, just, because like I said, it probably won't close till December, and because of the semi-annual interest payment. So if you can get me that sometime in October, that'd be good.
You're saying we're not able to use this money in November, right?
Well, the way they got it, not in November, because it's throwing, the way the schedule is, it's throwing a semi-annual interest payment in this budget. It's not in the budget.
Is it possible for us to have a workshop, Jimmy, sometime after a council meeting in October to discuss this?
Sure. If you want to call one.
Yeah, I just need to know, I just know what you want to use it for, and then we'll have to get all of the information that you want. They usually want more stuff than that.
You can do that at a workshop, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
You wanna, Bill, you wanna just adjourn the session?
Yeah.
What?
Adjourn in session instead of calling a workshop?
Well,
During session, I guess.
You won't have to vote on anything. I mean, you won't have to vote, you won't have to vote until they send you a resolution.
Let's discuss what we want to do tonight.
Yeah, you just need to discuss it.
October will be adjourned.
All right. We have Mr. Finley here with E.E. Hill and Sons to discuss the employee insurance renewal. Mr. Finley?
So, yeah, the city's health insurance renews on January 1st. And if the council would like, I can certainly go out to the market and shop it this year. If you want to do that, if there's any companies you would rather than not shop, if you want me to shop all of them, now's when I need to know.
What's your anticipated increase?
Can you drop your mask, Jim, when you talk?
Sure.
What's the anticipated increase?
We don't know yet, so 60 days out is when it will publish. So that's gonna be, November 1st roughly. We should know for sure by then. I just don't have any idea. It's gonna be based on usage, and there's a lot of things that they calculate into it.
Will that give you time to shop if we waited till November 1st?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I can have you a firm rate by the first of December, hopefully before that, but that would be the absolute last once I have the rate, in order to get everybody enrolled, that's where we, come up against our time crunch every year, right? It's not shopping it, it's getting everyone enrolled and having your cards if you decide to make a change. That's the big issue.
January or December 31's the deadline on it. I mean, policy expired.
No, yeah, the policy expires December 31st, but, the last time we moved the city from Blue Cross, we went to Humana. And if you remember, we had a deadline of the second week of December to get all the employees enrolled with the new Humana plan to get their ID cards. Well, the problem was, we didn't get our ID cards till the second week of January, which means that from January 1st to the second week of January, we had employees that were getting services that didn't have ID cards, and it was a disaster. So, if we make a decision the first week of December, we have to have the employees in here, to enroll just as soon as we can, really no later than, December 11th, December 12th, sometime in through there, to give enough time for the new company, if we do move. Now, again, are there any companies the council would prefer me not shop? I know in the past there was an issue with United Healthcare years ago, and, so do you want me to shop them all, or what's your pleasure?
Last year, we just shopped Blue Cross and Humana, so we didn't want United Healthcare, so. My opinion, just shop them too.
Yeah, I'm glad.
Okay. Very well.
What about you, Mark? You good with that? And? Bill? Okay, John, yours too.
Thank you.
You're welcome, John.
Speaking of first of November, y'all have to decide a date to change the meeting to, because the meeting night falls on November the 3rd, which I believe is election day. So you can have it the day after if you want to. Is that good with everybody?
We're good with everybody else.
Yeah, okay, we'll just set it then. Discussion on Beach Street and Cumberland Avenue projects. I have given you all, I have previously sent this email out to you. What we ran into on the Beach Street project and the paving is that money was appropriated prior to the ADA transition plan being put in place, so that project has come back substantially higher. And it would need, to do the full scope of the project, would cost between $150,000 and $175,000 extra, correct, Terry?
Yeah,
Full
it's
500,000?
It's way more, yeah.
Yeah, so that would cost that much extra. There is, Cannon is currently reaching out to TDOT for us to see if we would be able to do the 20-some odd ADA ramps in-house, which would be a substantial savings. But if the answer is no, then you all would need to pick some portion of those 5 scenarios there to do.
How much money we got to work with?
What's the construction on that, Terry, 315 or 3?
For, which grant is this?
It's a STP payment.
The SDP, I'd have to look and see.
It's either 315 or 3,
It's
345, yeah, so it's between 150 and 175,000 put in if you did the total project amount.
And these numbers that you have here include the ADA and the asphalt, right?
Yes,
Okay.
yes, this is construction, total construction on it.
I know the entire Beach Street needs to be paved.
I'm like you, Brandon.
I think we need to see about coming up with the money to do the entire project.
I think we did it in the house for about $40,000. I talked to Scope Casey today, and he says he's got the skills within his manpower now.
That would knock off some for the ADA. I don't know where that would put us at as far as the rest of the construction. If you want to look at that avenue, I can go back and revisit that with Cannon and see if that's where they want to, how much it would take off the project and how much it would, save us if TDOT will allow us to do that.
What was in that SDP project to start with that amount of money Cumberland Avenue to Prospect, North Cumberland to Prospect, South Cumberland to Beach Street. Is that right, Bill? So, those streets, they're small sections, but
Still to be done.
they need to be done. That was included, that was included in that STP money when it first started. Now, like Jimmy said, the ADA has killed us, so we gotta do it, so we need to include those streets in there, pay them.
Well, that 45,000 I mentioned would be coming out of Casey's budget as far as labor's concerned, but material costs would probably be less than $10,000.
But if you look down there at the bottom, it's telling you that it's roughly, right under scenario 5, it's telling you that it's roughly 35,000 per block, to do everything to it, retrofit the ramps, et cetera. So,
But those streets need to be included. When we fund this project, we need to fund it all. And in my
We've been talking about it forever, that we were gonna do Beach Street, and it needs to be done. I mean, it's been years that this is supposed to be done.
it's not our fault, it's the
She
state.
don't vote.
I understand it's not our fault that the cost is up, but the whole street, the whole length of the street needs to be
paid
done.
from one end to the other. That's no question, and the ADA's gotta go in.
The STP money grant, we get every so often, as far as the handicap ramps, they never do them, you know what I'm saying? Once it's done, it's done. Now, T-Dot can come in here and redo their handicap ramps, and 2 years later, they're not their spec, and turn them back out. They did the ones on the main drive, remember, Reed? They come here, done them, it wasn't right, and redo them.
The total, budget for that, as it originally was $457,125.
what was construction was
Construction was $350.
350. So it's $150,000 out of fund balance to do them all, or if we're able to, if you wanna add the other streets, I don't know what it would be fund balance to add those other streets to it, or,
Do we have any estimates on those other streets?
no. Would you like for me to,
Yeah, we need those included. We need that included.
Get with Kelly, Jimmy, Roger, because he can be the estimate. That's on North Cumberland Hill base.
so we need estimates.
Well, according to Cannon, the project's probably not gonna start till late spring, early summer anyway. So we got a little time to work with it.
On North Cumberland, what were the
Yes,
other streets?
North Cumberland,
South Avenue to Central,
13th Street.
13th Street.
Yeah, the match on that originally as it was about $107,000. And that is in the budget, fund balance, but that won't include anything else that you change.
13th Street, you wanna do from central to city limits?
Yeah.
That's what we just done, Jimmy, 13th Street here.
Where it goes to the overpass, from the red light to the overpass.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then north and south Cumberland, North Cumberland over at Prospect, south
The Beach Street.
Cumberland to Beach Street. We've been telling everybody we was gonna pay Beach Street, but it's gonna, like Mark said, it'll be spring of next year before it gets to be paid, and it's in bad shape, but
Okay, so we'll get the estimates on those. So do you want to take money out of fund balance, or do you want to see if Cannon if we can do the ADA ramps ourselves?
Well, if we're gonna have a workshop, you can get touch base with Cannon, we'll
An October workshop?
workshop or another joint meeting or whatever.
We'll have to have a
Real
logistics
quick.
meeting with Cannon anyway, to make sure that we meet their time frame.
Right.
With Casey's current manpower, there's still questions about that.
Right, I will get with Cannon and get estimates on these other streets. Discussion on the train lighting, I think all you need to do is put that on the agenda and vote to do the, investment grade audit. So, discussion on the mower, on the tractor. So on the tractor, you need to decide if you just wanna buy it out of the 1.5 or what you wanna do.
The one, yeah.
We need to see, you got the specs on it,
We'll
Jim?
have to do, we need to buy two. We need to buy one with an arm, and then we need to buy the one side motor. We gotta buy two new ones. So it'd have to come out of that 1.5.
What's your estimated cost on those cases?
I think a side mower is around 90, a new one. And,
Tractor and mower.
yeah, mow trim, which is the boom mower, they're like 115 to 130.
Yeah.
That thing, that's just an estimate.
That's about right, that's about what it costs.
Did we not add the mower into the budget, when that's part of the budget?
It was added in to be taken out of the 1.5 when you got it in the budget. When you budgeted, it was added in to be taken out of the, when the new capital outlay note came out.
Mowing season will be over pretty soon, because we can't touch that till the first of the year, correct?
I think it's
December.
December, I believe Terry said.
Is that red tractor down, Casey?
It's down, yeah.
What's the matter with it now?
Turbo, and it's got something bad wrong with the engine.
Fast down all the way.
Don't know what it is.
You gonna sell that surplus, aren't you?
We've got the two older ones in the surplus
You
list,
gonna quit telling everybody about it.
and the, hope to get the red one added later. We're gonna fix it.
We just put an engine in that red one, didn't we, Casey?
Yeah.
We need to have it too.
So I think, Casey, if you provide them on the surplus list,
I did. Did you get that, Stan? That's got the two old tractors on it.
TWRA is interested in buying, one of those old tractors, which I think that we were able to do an interagency transfer with them, but they're interested in buying one of those old tractors, but y'all will need to vote at this upcoming meeting to declare those
Surplus.
surplus.
Do we have a list of them?
Yeah, he did the original, I said he wanted that side mount. I would guess it.
Who's the holder of the list? Stan, can you get us all a copy of the list of all surplus items? Please.
You need to list the surplus.
This is just what we have.
So you'll need to do those, that tractor, you need to buy it out of 1.5 when you get it. Under police department, we have, promoting Monica Gibson to full-time dispatcher, currently part-time at a salary of $22,495.20, effective 10/10/20. That will be on the agenda for y'all to vote on.
Is there a position open?
Yes.
We actually have two full-time positions, and she's part-time right now. She'll-
She's been with us a while, ain't she, Bill?
A little over 6 months.
Yeah.
So, under Public Works, we have promoting Tori McDonald to full-time, currently part-time, at a salary of $26,737.15, effective 10/10/20.
So also there's a current position open?
Yes. We have promoting James Suttles to operator at a salary of $32,757.30, effective date 10/10/20.
Is he the most seniority for that position?
No.
Why are we doing that then?
He has the most experience.
We're not doing seniority.
Well, I don't have nobody else that's, can do what he can do, you know? He's got over 30-year experience, so,
But he doesn't have 30 years with the city.
no, but he's got over 30 years in construction.
I think
He's
what she's
valuable.
asking, is there any personnel on staff now that has the experience to qualify for operator's position?
No.
Okay, so,
There is not.
Mm,
And he has a CDL license?
yes.
I know he's been doing it.
He worked since he asked, when I worked for the street department, he was the Rogers Group.
He's been doing it a long time.
He run equipment.
He's real good. He's good.
Well, he was, he worked since he asked off.
Yeah, for years.
Yeah.
Right, you have ordinance 2020-04, amending the Park and Recreation ordinance. This will be your final reading on it. We have resolution 2020-15, amending the original budget. That is to put the $178,000 into the budget that we received from the state of Tennessee. Then you have the resolution 2020-16, that's just authorizing the city to participate in the public entity partners loss control matching grant program. We do that every year. And we have resolution 2020-17 to amend the original budget. That is for the imminent threat grant, which came in higher than we expected. If you want to do that, it will take an additional $105,000 on Cherry Street. That will fix 2 out of the 4 places. If you want to cut it down, then we'll only be able to fix 1 out of the 4 places.
Do we have any design engineering on any of those, Jim?
We had engineers who came out and looked at it. As far as doing designs, no, don't think so. They actually had a geotechnical company come out and look at it because of the steep banks and the slides, et cetera. So that's where we're at on that. It's $105,000 if you wanna do 2 slides, because it came in higher than expected, the scope of the project.
We didn't get that 315,000.
We did. This is in addition to that. The project is 446,000.
About 446,000.
For 4 spots, right?
For 2.
Two.
If it was 4 spots, our match was gonna be 360-something just for our match, for 4. So they cut it down to
Choose
2.
which 2.
Are you talking about the church doing it, and one co-op, the worst ones?
The church and, I mean, you can choose,
Church
I think the
has to.
church and then, at that point we can choose another one. So it's just,
The
we
place
can,
behind the co-op needs to be fixed, or that's gonna slide right off into the co-op. I mean, it's gotta be the church and the co-op would be the 2 most logical places to have it done.
Well, this is for, they prioritize, 2 of them. You'd have to look, see which 2 it is, but it's based on the 2 they prioritize, and I'm not sure which 2 it is.
it is co-op.
Oh, is it?
It is co-op
And church.
and the church. All right, something else that you all will need to do this upcoming Tuesday is to meet in executive session to discuss, the hospital. And, maybe we could do that before the meeting at 5 o'clock, if that would work for everybody. Reed, will that work for you? Works for me. Yeah, we had an answer back from the hospital, and we just need to meet in executive session to discuss,
If we wait till next council meeting, they're gonna take time after that, and this thing's gonna drag on like nobody's business. We need to get that over with.
This week you go through that matter.
Give them,
we have to give notice,
understand that.
we can meet, Wednesday afternoon.
That's what I would give notice.
Yeah, we can meet, well, no, I'm sorry, tomorrow will be Tuesday, we have to meet Thursday afternoon.
Thursday, yeah.
Yeah, we can meet Thursday afternoon.
What time?
And then make them get a response back in 10 days or something. They're just dragging their feet.
Also, it's sufficient.
What time do you?
Will Thursday at 2 work for everybody?
I'm not sure if I can be here now,
Okay, what time would work for you, Ms. Thompson?
not until 5. I'm by myself at my business, so I can't leave.
Thursday at 5.
Good with me.
Thursday at 5. Stan, can you advertise that for you? Or, and we talked, or Davina's reached out to Terry. We need to, consultant for the STP project. And Terry,
Dawson Bridge.
you wanna speak to that?
Dawson Bridge project there's gonna be some acquisition of property, so under the grant, which is, the grant's actually paying for it, they had to have an acquisition consultant, and we advertised for qualifications, and we, Community Health Department received 2, and it's Volker from Franklin, Tennessee, and O.R. Cole Associates from Chattanooga. And, Davina said that Community Health Partners, she has no preference for either one, but she said Volker they're in Franklin, they're more of an engineering company who does, acquisition, and O.R. Cole Associates is actually an acquisition company, but she said they were very helpful, and they are actually closer to us, Chattanooga and Franklin is, so it'd be a little bit less for driving mileage for what all they have to do.
That'd probably be less expensive because they're overhead too.
Yeah, so she said we need to approve one of those 2, so they can go ahead and, acquire the property.
She recommended O.R. Cohen.
She said she didn't have a preference for either, but she said O.R. Cohen was very helpful. That's what she said.
They're actually $4,000 cheaper.
They are. It's 85,000 rather than 89,000.
So they actually came in 4,000 cheaper, so.
Stock acquisition. In the wrong business.
No brainer.
Absolutely.
But she said both of them are TDOT approved, and both the monies are in the Dawson Bridge budget.
Okay, y'all had asked me to get some prices. So I got a price on paving Brantley Lane. It will run between 40 and 50,000 for the blacktop. Plus, we'll have to have a survey done. There'll also be some property acquisition in that. And possibility of engineering, at Eastgate to the city limits. That will run somewhere between 12 and 15,000.
You guys just from the bridge or right back the
Yeah.
highway?
I think that from the bridge on, it's been brought into the city, has it not?
Yeah, the city, look at Eddie Gray's property, you see?
Yeah,
Oh,
I think
see.
it is.
But the road's in good shape from the bridge back to Eddie Gray's, for Jill Travis. What was it, Jimmy, on that?
12 to 15, roughly. And I have written all 4 of these, Cumberland Lane, looking at 18 to 20. I reached out to check, the Memorial Drive. I reached out to check, there'll be a couple of them that will require surveying. And I got an estimate on Brantley Lane at $650. Memorial Lane at $1,375, so a little over $2,000 a survey.
I think we need to secure the property on Brantley Lane as quickly as possible before we spend any more money on the project.
Well, that will require surveying that for, Mr. Troutman to do the work on it from that point.
Are you talking about down on Memorial Drive, you talking about Bird Hat Maker and Thermidor?
That unopened street that you all wanted to, that unopened street that y'all wanted to pay,
Thermidor's back in there.
So the Mecca's gonna pay for it now, part of it, okay? You know, Thermidor is one of our biggest employees we have here in the city.
so that unopened street, but we do need to know, how wide that street is and all that kind of stuff, so we do need to have that surveyed. So, if it's all right with y'all, I'll go ahead and have the surveying done on those two places. I've also written up, media release to put these out for bids, and that way you'll have good hard numbers on what it will cost for each one of these, by the middle of October.
Mandatory pre-bid.
Wow.
Yep.
No.
You already given it. They want to do that, just like everybody knows, they know their exact scope of work. If we had a drawing, it would help.
Okay. I can add that in, it's not been turned in yet, so I can add it in. And, I spoke with, Mr. Tim Brown on the post office windows, and he said that he could get down here about, mid-October to fix those windows. He is supposed to give me an estimate on what it will cost to get those windows done.
Will we have to make to approve that amount of money?
And who is Tim Brown?
He is a gentleman who,
Put them in here, ain't it?
yeah,
Put them in. Yeah, we should. Put the other ones in. You get worried about them locking out.
Everybody say?
Now, I agree.
so he,
Decide what we're gonna do with it, too.
Rich won't put a rest in there.
We'll read it out.
Call Rich.
so he
I
will,
don't think that'd be a good business.
We could call it surplus, get it.
It's about paying for itself. Yeah, we rent that parking lot to housing for $500 a month.
We'll keep the parking lot.
so anyways, Mr. Brown will give me an estimate on that, and I have no idea how much it will be. I don't know if we end up having to get 3 phone bids, or 3 phone quotes, I don't have a clue. Well, I mean, it may be $500, it may be $5,000, I don't have a clue what that kind of work
If
costs.
we don't rescue those windows before winter, the bottom half of the windows won't be worth saving by this time, by spring of next year. We ain't dry enough to actually do it.
So, and if it turns out to be something that you need to vote on, if you have an adjourned in session in October, and we can just put that on there for an adjourned in session to discuss that during your adjourned in session. So, we can do it that way.
It's gotta be done. Like Mark said, there's a lot, almost.
But, you know, since
Those
we-
windows were outrageously expensive,
Oh,
they
yeah.
were
Since we let-
$50,000.
You put your,
Since
you
we let
put your
Karen
fingernail.
and Joanne use that building at no cost, they can do a fundraiser and have them fix themselves. Since they wanted those original windows back in, there's Sherman, I know that. Maybe you talk to Karen and Joanne.
Okay. All right, that's all I have.
I have a question.
Okay.
The drainage on the Beach Street Bridge needs to be addressed.
Yeah.
The drains do not work. Every time it rains, it's full of water. Something needs to be done about it, because come winter, it's gonna be a mess.
Casey, can we mill that down some?
It needs to be.
We
Did
can
it
mill
hold
it.
water from the get-go?
It has held water from
I
get-go.
noticed it the other day.
Here's the thing, I don't think you could just go and mill it without somebody coming in and looking at it, cause the structure might damage it, but
I thought that was part of that bid on the Beach Street project, is for them to
mill,
clean that hump off.
It's a concrete bridge.
I don't know.
Something was supposed to be done about that hump.
It's
Too,
starting-
that
Gonna
never
grind
been
up.
done.
We have a master services agreement in place with Cannon and Cannon right now. I don't think it's expired at this point, but, so we're able to get them to do, small engineering projects with we can get them to look at the bridge. I can call them tomorrow and have them come look at the bridge with Casey. And, we'll set up a time so they can, because we definitely don't want to do anything to affect the structure of the bridge.
Casey, is there just one spot open water?
And I think it's on
I
both
noticed on the right
sides.
hand side as you're heading east.
I believe that hump out there on the end, on the east end, is keeping it from.
Going in.
Right now.
Well, the drains don't drain, and they never have. I mean, there's two little bitty drains on the whole bridge, and they don't drain.
They normally just dump straight down in the creek anyway.
Well,
They don't work.
LUB has got some stuff under there, plus when we went to that meeting, and AT&T's got their lines over there. So they can go over there.
So we need to, I can get them tomorrow, to give me an estimate on what it would cost to come out here and just look at it, see what we could do with drains.
Is there any way just to core a hole and get rid of the water?
We'll
That's
ask
what there is
them
now.
and see if,
That's what, that little bitty hole is all there is.
Like, might be in a new place, I hold that big.
Cause there's water standing on it. Water standing on it.
I'll get with them, get them with Casey tomorrow, and we'll see where we're at from that point.
Hey Jimmy,
And
one thing I'd like to mention, it might need to be on the agenda Tuesday, is the grant cycle's open for the LPRL, which is the grant like we use for the playground across the street.
it's 50-50, correct?
It's 50-50, and with COVID, they've shortened everything up, and high priorities are gonna be what's in the recreation plan, so. A few years back, the council put, the amphitheater in, the 10-year plan, so it's gonna be high priority. Instead of me asking for a new playground or whatever, high priority, it's almost 100% guaranteed if you stay within your plan. But the big problem is it's shortened. I was telling Terry, I think, sometime in October, it usually goes to June. But he's gonna get with Evan tomorrow. The last email, he did mention that we might need to do a resolution Tuesday night, if you all wanna go forward with that. And, so I just wanna make mention of that.
I did some stuff for them for T-Deck Thursday for them, but they didn't mention it, at least we'll find out for sure. They didn't mention it.
He mentioned an October date. To me, that's the reason I was concerned. I didn't wanna be without a resolution, because that's the first thing we'll have to have, if we wanna go forward with that. And I think Jimmy's already done some preliminary work on it with Cannon, so that's another plus for us, so.
Are you talking about some new playground equipment too, John?
Not this year, it's not, the new playground, we got it in our 10-year plan already. So, the amphitheater's in there, there's some stuff that I've already done, like some ADA upgrades around the parks. And, but he said that was our best shot, if we want the amphitheater to.
Go for it.
To go for it, yes. So you all can kick it around, and we find out tomorrow. We might have another month to think about it, but I want to be ready just in case.
Okay.
Okay.
Craig, if you find out between now and the meeting, if we have to have a resolution for
I'll
that.
find out tomorrow. Like I said, I talked from Lynn Thursday about this for Evan, but he didn't mention it, but I'll find out.
Do we have a cost for this amphitheater?
I'm sorry?
We have an estimated cost for the amphitheater?
Well, you can spend $100,000 to $1 million. I mean,
Well, that's why.
That's something.
that will be something that we can do once we submit the plan for it.
And I think the way it's designed to be locked in, like if you wanna build phase 1, phase 2, then you can add phase 3, 4, and 5 onto it at some point. I think the way they designed it was to build it small, but for it to always you'd be able to add on to it.
Right.
That's correct, for you, Joe?
Yes.
Mr. Hoskins? You have anything?
You got trunk or treat too.
Yeah, we have trunk or treat. I'll make sure y'all get your pamphlet for that and have your tables and stuff set up. It'll be from 5 to 8. And, we'll have to make a way to, social distance kids. At this point, what we put out is that, masks are recommended but not required. So,
What day is that on?
Saturday.
Saturday the 31st.
we gonna do the project up there from the church down,
Yes.
cleaning the creek?
Yeah, Preacher Bruce has contacted me about that a couple times, probably 3 or 4 times here in the last little bit. We've had other projects going on, but we did get the, engineering done on that, and, we will have to get right of entry agreements and all of that, but actually, I think, Mr. Boshiers has moved the equipment up there to do that.
You gonna go from the rural all the way down to the sewer plant, Fifth Ridge?
From,
I think they're going from the end of the T-Dot, culvert, to just past,
the city limits,
yeah, to the city limit there.
which will be the bridge there, or will be just past, South Massachusetts Avenue.
You know, the ditches fell in, there's trees across it, and everything else, it's all, cause I walked from the rural all the way down to the sewer plant. It's bad.
Anything could help.
Yeah, so
But you
fortunately, that is a wet weather conveyance, so that helps us out. We actually had TDOT come in and look at it, and they did a, analysis on it. It's a wet weather conveyance, so that helps us out. I'm sorry, TDAT, not TDOT. TDAT looked at it, and, that helps us out tremendously with being able to work on it.
Well, I'm pretty sure if we get TDOT involved in it, and the utilities over here, and the county, and street department, we clean that thing out, and we'll let flooding them in.
That's the,
How many feet is that you're gonna clean over there, Casey?
I ain't looked at exactly how many feet it is.
You got an idea, Mike?
It's quite a bit.
It's a long way.
It's a long.
What you need to do, Casey, is walk from up there to Mark Wells' house, all the way down to the sewer plant. It's bad.
We got to put in two buttons, drainage thing.
Culvert, either culverts or box culverts.
Box cover.
I think that's the only road, Cheetah Lane's the only road that crosses that drainage ditch, is not. No,
No.
Massachusetts does.
And
Faithway.
Yeah, Faithway.
Well, Faithway's pretty, I think it meets criteria, the flow on the little drive, they said,
It doesn't even-
I thought they said leak.
They said that the stop up was that the smallest point, the bottleneck was at Sheba's Way
That's correct.
at this time, but if you open Sheba's Way up, Faithway will then be a bottleneck.
Okay.
And
Can do that.
While we've got the
Then you'll
manpower.
have to decide.
and
What about that
something
grade off
y'all
there? Can
have,
you use that grade on
We
there?
might use it a little bit up there,
I
yeah.
think Steve's familiar with it.
He can run it, yeah, yeah.
and something you all have to decide, do you want to buy the precast box cover, do you want it built in place? Our machine it strains the upper load limits of our machine, it won't lift it.
It won't pick one up, no.
It won't pick one
Not
up.
the one that you's had the specs on, it wouldn't lift it, you'd have to have a crane. A precast box,
It may come out cheaper to have one built in, place if we have to rent cranes and everything.
Well, if we're gonna do all three of them simultaneously, let's put it out for bid both ways. But we need design criteria or to get competitive bids.
Okay. Can take care of that tomorrow too.
Surplus equipment. Set a date.
Johnny, have you turned in your surplus equipment?
No, I've just got a couple items. I'll get it turned in tomorrow.
Chief?
Did you turn that? Okay, we'll get it turned about it.
Surplus
We
equipment.
need to figure out if we want
Get it in here.
to have an auctioneer do it or have it online.
That's what I was gonna talk with Jimmy about, see if we could do that government.
There's an online website now called Gov Deals, and it's where cities and counties and government their surplus equipment online for folks to bid on it. So that's something that we can possibly do, if you all wanna look at doing that. We've
What
never
do they
done that.
charge? What do they charge?
I'm not for sure. The only thing we ever tried to sell on it was a fire truck, and we didn't get, the bids we got on the fire truck was not even close to, we ended up just donating it to,
I don't think there's any fees, so it's given off the regular website.
not for sure, yeah, if there is fees, I can find out what the fees are, but the fire department, I don't think we gave that to Stony Fork or White Oak, one of the two, because we got like a $1,500 bid on it or something.
I like live auctions better. Got the pressures on it.
Yeah.
Just,
But David,
David
on that.
or Adam, whichever one can speed up an auction here in the next month.
And we can, you just tell me a date that you wanna have one, give me a date. And give me a date, and if everybody gets your surplus list in to be voted on, to be declared surplus by Tuesday, then they need about a month to advertise it. So you wanna do it at the end of October, first of November, first week of November?
Sounds good to me.
First week of November. All right, let's see what that first Saturday is. First Saturday is the 7th. Well, first Saturday is the 7th. So auction November the 7th. We typically start those about 12 o'clock, 12 noon. Is that okay with everybody?
Sell that old white car in the parking lot.
I'm gonna give them a quarter you, with cash. Should have kept the tools real quick. That's where my car stops.
Mayor Stanfield, you have anything?
I'm good, you.
Mr. Archer?
Yes, I've got, yours. I'll ask Reed first, if we put signs on each end of, on each side and each end of the bridges, saying no loitering, no trespassing on those bridges, can we do anything about enforcing? I understand that one has a recliner under one of the bridges. One of the
bridges that you wanna put a sign on, because they're state bridges, we gotta be careful right on, Jim.
Aspen Street.
Aspen Street.
Start 'em on all.
Beach Street or
Beach Street's bad, there's usually a mattress under that one all the time.
And the lower King Bridge.
put them signs on both
11th
ends.
Street Bridge too.
Yeah, you-
What cost that less? Does that give us any legal authority to roust them out?
Yeah. And you've already got an ordinance already for it, so.
around them right now,
Yeah, I don't think you have to have a sign if you don't want to, you put one up there just to give them a chance to get out.
They need to know that they can't be under the bridge, then that gives our police department an opportunity to roust them out.
You can do that.
What about the two state bridges? Every time I go under the one at the high school, there's people living under it or resting.
Well, it's an issue that's gonna have to be addressed.
Mr. Archer, if I may, I've got a couple of documents I'd like to pass out to you guys. One of them explains what, Ninth Circuit identified that law enforcement can do in dealing with the homeless. The second is the plan that I've come up with to address the homeless, on a immediate basis, and then also a plan that you can look at for long-term, that the council can look at for long-term, maybe give some consideration to the programs that I've, put in place here. I'd like to lay these out for you if you don't care.
That's certainly needed.
This is for light reading tonight. Yeah, light reading. If you look at the last two pages, I'll give you a brief summary of what happened out of Boise, Idaho, where they were taken before the federal court, and the court identified we're gonna continue as a law enforcement agency, we're gonna continue to provide the service that the citizens need here in the community. We're gonna do that. You know, if we can do certain things, like we can check people and see, you know, why they're here and things of that nature. If we find that they're involved in a misdemeanor in our site, we can make an arrest for that. However, we will need some help from the community as well. Much like you said, signage, if we put the signage up in various places, some of the private businesses, if they'll even put signage up, then we can move people along. Just take a look at that. If y'all have any questions, I'll be more than happy to answer.
I happened to be over here at Smith's Hardware a couple of weeks ago, sitting there in my truck. This boy came in on a bicycle, parked his bike, but off of that bicycle, he took a lunch pail thing, and he carried it in the hardware store. I knew exactly what he's gonna do. Feel that thing pull every little toy he could pick up in there. Now, I've had merchants call, Dan says, I've had, you were at Risa Price's.
Correct.
Last week.
Yeah, myself.
And then I got a call this past week about shoplifting. And we also asked y'all, put somebody downtown walking the streets. Is that interesting?
Yes, sir, it is, and we have people that go downtown and walk. I have them complete a directed patrol each and every time that they're downtown, and we have a copy of that to show that they've been down there, answering, being available to the citizens. You know, the thing about homelessness is this, it's sad. It's a sad thing, but also it's not illegal. They've got a right to be in certain places. They got a right to do things much like anybody else. We're gonna work to the best of our ability and provide the services that we can.
We've got taxpayers in
ensure
this city
that-
that have rights.
To ensure the citizens, are safe in this community.
We need to add one more to that list, Bill, and top of 19th Street, they got Tent City up there. On top of 19th Street.
Right, and we can take a look at that as well. We're moving them along, we're displacing them from time to time. They've been over on First, and we had some lean-tos over there behind Lindsay's warehouse, where we moved people out and things such as that. But we're out in the community, we're out in the city, and the officers are actually working the problem. We're gonna try to do it to the best of our ability to give you a better quality service.
Can we offer overtime?
Food City store down in Woodson Mall. I've asked about the homelessness going in and shoplifting them crazy everywhere. I mean, but I know, I have sympathy for them, but our merchants can't take that crap.
Well, I get it, and I understand that, but also too, we need help from some of the people as well. When you have restaurants that feed folks and things, I get it. I get people who are hungry and you want to show kindness, I understand that. But it has a tendency to bring consequences as well. These people are going to stay around those particular areas.
You pay me, I'm gonna stay.
Right,
I'm gonna stay real.
but we're going to continue working.
Well,
Can we have some overtime for a
Yes, sir,
walker on the street?
we can do that, we sure can.
Can you institute that?
Yes, sir.
No? Mark?
Sure. Well, they need to take care of this problem.
You want all the business, Bill,
Yes, sir.
all of them.
can we get signs made says no loitering and give it to the merchant and the folks at the
Well, we can do that if y'all authorize it. Of course, the street department will have to make the signs for us and things of that nature.
These are like little plastic signs that fit in the window.
But they have made signs for us in the past, to where we put them up in various places, no loitering and things of that.
I'm trying to say that.
We can get those things made by the street department, we can get them out to the citizens.
Well, more action that we see from you all, the less we have to deal with the merchants calling us as council members.
Yes, sir, I get it, and, I realize that they're calling you, they call us daily, we respond to the calls.
Well, I don't mind them calling me, that's why I'm here. to answer their needs if possible. But in turn, I've got to ask you all
Right.
to provide them services and needs also.
And we're gonna do that, but again, it comes back to this, it's a social problem. You know, I can't fix homelessness.
If you
If
start across the street.
If I could fix homelessness, I would be the rich man, because everybody in the United States would be wanting my services. So we're gonna work hard to give you, the quality service for the citizens.
If you'll come around tomorrow, and I'm sitting down here, just sitting there in my truck, you ought to see what goes on across the street.
Yes, we respond to calls over there. We know what's there. Also takes the responsibility, from the proprietors to.
Can you
be
come in with a
accountable.
sting on the prostitutes?
We've worked the prostitution, issue, we're not really seeing as much in here, maybe y'all are, I don't know, but we're not seeing them as police, we're not seeing them in the community as much.
It's still over there, if you wanna look, all you gotta do is get you an undercover car and sit there at the church, on Tennessee, and watch the trucks drive around.
Okay. Yeah, we can certainly do that. We can
Mostly
watch
on the
that.
weekend.
Okay.
Chief,
Yes,
the situation with the homeless, you said you're moving them along, but are they coming right back?
well, they do have a tendency to come back, we're seeing, a lot of the problem here in our community is this, majority of the homeless that we're seeing are addicted to drugs, so they're here in this community for drugs. And we work the drug problem, and I mean, we aggressively work the drug problem. You can see through the media of the things that we've been involved in, we've done in the last 2 years well over 30 operations where we've gone into homes and done search warrants and things of that nature. Officers on a daily basis are stopping cars, and, we're incarcerating people for drugs. But, it's a problem that we're working, but they go hand in hand sometimes.
You reached
Chief,
out
I'm
to
up and down this road to cut the campaigning like the rest of them, and I ain't seen a police car pull over the first dadgum guy with a backpack on.
Well, wouldn't it be better if we had a homeless shelter?
No.
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 For them
No.
to go to,
They're
so they
gonna have-
wouldn't have to live under the bridge?
Jacksonburg's getting ready to open one, I can go down there.
You wouldn't want to put one downtown, that's
No,
major
not downtown, but
problem.
somewhere in Campbell County local for them to go.
That would be up to the county, that's something that the county could look
I mean,
at.
we don't have to put it
County
on
could-
Main Street,
Right.
we do need one
But if it's
here.
gonna be in the county, not inside the city, that would fall under county commission.
Well, I think we've got more here in the city of LaFollette than just about anywhere
The reason
else.
we have those is because a lady came in here a few months back and decided she wanted to feed and train the people. They came in by droves. You could go down towards the interstate any day, any time of day and night, and they were coming in here with their wagons and their bicycles. Before she got here,
Feeding them
we only
and
had a
training
handful
them
of
is a
people.
bad thing?
Yes, it is.
So you're equating them to animals?
No, I did not. That's you who just said that.
Because I'm telling you, if you could help
They're
them
not
get off
from
the
here,
street.
ma'am. We'll take care of our own. They need to go back to where they came
There are
from.
here that are citizens
Yeah, but-
of this county. And if we
They
can
weren't
take
3
care
months
of
ago.
them, if we can take care of them, help them, give them a place to stay, a leg up, you're gonna see them get away from the drugs and stuff.
No, you won't.
Every time the city tries to help out the homeless, they get shut down, they get moved on. You can only move them on so long, they're gonna come back.
Go to
They're
San
here.
Francisco.
They're not going anywhere.
Go to
So why not
Seattle.
do something about it?
That's
Mr.
what-
Rock, do you have anything else?
That's what happens
Let
when
me
you
tell you what
go
happened to me
out.
Sunday. They had a prayer, local church had a prayer meeting at 9 o'clock, where Sergeant Park Saturday morning, I come. I parked here in front of City Hall. I just sent him down my car, a man stopped me, homeless, no money, no food, hungry. 9 o'clock. 9 o'clock in the morning, here I'm going to a prayer meeting, I ran into a homeless person, hungry,
Oh.
and I got with Johnny, and Johnny got with, Charles Rue over at, East End Food Pantry, and we got that man some food, and I really appreciate Johnny and
Oh, Bill's got another, Bill's got something else he wants to bring up.
The tent that's on y'all's vehicles, is that for a purpose that dark? I can't see if it's a chief or it's Steve or Doug, who's in the vehicle.
Actually, the tent that's on our vehicle, the one that I've got, was factory.
Safety tent?
Yes.
what does it do?
Well, I mean, you'd have to ask Chevrolet, people are the ones. that-
Protects the interior
I mean,
from
you
sun.
know,
Protects the interior.
If it stop a bullet?
No, I'm sorry to.
That's what I can't tell it, honestly, I can't tell if it's you, Steve, or
Yeah.
Doug, whoever's in
But
it.
those that are on my vehicle are.
I just have to learn the vehicle.
They're factory.
Speaking of vehicles,
I got
what about
one-
your cars, when you
I
come,
go
new
through
cars?
waving at them.
I'm sorry, sir.
Your new cars, when you gonna be in?
We've, got them ordered, they're projected to be here in December.
December, what, 4 of them?
Four.
I have one question for y'all. Are you gonna do another workshop in October to discuss that, just to discuss what you're gonna spend the money for? Or are you gonna vote on the culverts and stuff in October? So if you're gonna do something that you vote, you have to have adjourned in session. If you're just gonna discuss, you can just do it in a workshop.
What we just do a workshop, then? Discuss it.
Workshop adjourned in session, that way we ain't gonna do no workshop, and do whatever we have to do adjourn the next meeting.
Then we have budget on each
Well,
of the colors.
if you adjourn in session, you can only discuss the things you adjourned in session for. You can't have a workshop and discuss a whole bunch of stuff and then vote on that in that meeting. So you can only vote on what you have adjourned in the previous meeting in session for.
All that we discussed here.
We're gonna have a workshop with the hospital. We're gonna,
Well, now, you said you wanted to do that Thursday at 5 o'clock, so that will be advertised tomorrow. That will go out tomorrow, first thing in the morning. Stan will get that advertisement out.
That's considered a separate thing, different thing, correct?
We're gonna do it here, Jimmy, or in the conference room?
Either way, it won't be open to the public. You can do it either place you want to, but it won't be open to the public. So you want to do an adjourned in session then during, is that what you want to do?
Yeah.
Okay, all right, just want to be sure.
I wanna say, Ron McClellan got his start in politics, walking the streets of LaFollette all day long. That was his job.
Tennessee Avenue in particular.
And he, but is there anybody that, do we need to get an auxiliary or somebody that's,
No, sir, if the city council wants somebody permanently to walk downtown, I'll assign somebody. We can do that.
Or is that gonna leave you short other places?
No, put it short on the street, and we'll deal with it.
Hey,
If you want somebody permanently to walk downtown, I'll push
hey,
somebody.
Chief, I talked to Ron here a while back, he's looking for a part-time job if he could use him. He won't be able to see the father.
All right, Mr. Rogers, is that it?
What I said, Bill, was not to hurt your road crew, work people overtime if they would do.
Right,
Or if you got a.
right, we're gonna,
Bill said,
yeah, we got the overtime, and we'll
you
deal
got
with
the,
it.
how'd y'all do under the ticket or that program?
The ticket or ticket. It was a pretty productive program for us. I don't have the exact numbers. I do know though our entire, process is not only to just stop them from being involved in drunk driving, but to slow them down.
Did any of our officers get overtime for doing that?
Yes, we have a grant with, Tennessee, or Governor's Highway Safety Office.